I had for you is can you give me an overview of, let's say, for example, we have a 3-year school development plan here. How would the rollover work? So I'm coming to the end of my 3-year cycle for my school development plan. You know, is there a cut-off day where literally you just wipe one and reinstall the new one? Can you run almost 2 in parallel for a gradual moving over? How would you recommend doing that?
Well, a couple of different ways that you can handle that. One is, it depends on the status of each individual activity and priority. So basically, the idea is that you would work through the system of moving the progress on of your activities first. Have we met them? Have we not? Are they still in progress, etc.? And then that will inform whether each objective has been completed. And in turn, that will inform if that whole priority has been completed. Now, if it's not, and if you want to extend and you want your school development plan to be on a rolling programme, you can move the dates forward. So rather than copy and pasting because you know that you have to continue with that priority or that objective, etc., you can just simply roll the dates forward, and they will appear then in the next plan, and it will always be a living, breathing, rolling forward document. It's only when you've finally met that priority that would be met, and then you can create your other. Does that make sense?
Yep, yeah, I think so. So essentially, I could, like, can I delete a priority, or would you just say, right, we've met it, and like, is there like an archiving process for? So let's say I've met my activity, which in turn has met my objective, which in turn has met my priority. Yeah, do you just archive it? Do you just, or once you've marked it as done, does it automatically archive?
Yeah, it automatically archives once you've done. I don't know whether you can see, I've just brought on School IP here onto the share screen.
Yep.
This is our training site, so I'll just show you the development plan, how it looks live. Okay, so here, for example, I would click onto the objective to be able to see the activities. Okay, and you can always go into the pencil to edit that activity. So I've currently got the date as the 31st of August 2021 as an end date for that activity. So let's say it's the 1st of September 2021, and I'm still in progress with that. So what I can do, I can just change my due date, and I can give myself a few more weeks to complete that activity. And by going to whatnet, oops. Okay, so then if I go back, that should have changed. Let me just go.
So while Becky's just doing this, just to interrupt, so we've got some schools that have set up part of their school development plan to be like a COVID plan as well. And they've set those for like 12 months. They've got other objectives that they've set for 3 years. I've got another school that set some objectives in their system for 5 years. So the whole point about it, it just becomes a forever open document that you end up having certain different time spans, and you can edit them as you go along.
Yeah.
Okay, get it. So yeah, so you essentially, you've either met the progress, or you can start a new priority, new objective, new activity, or you can extend the date of every single one, or half of them, or a fraction of them, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to start with the priority first to extend the date on the priority, and then the particular objective underneath of that, and then you can extend the date of the activity.
Okay.
It makes sense doing it that way because you're sort of, it's a box within a box kind of attitude. So that's how you can create, and you can make the development plan a living, breathing document. And then, of course, when you've got your SEF up and running, it's the paperclip and the drop down arrow that will then link your SEF to the development plan even further. So if we've got the SEF open here, and we go into question number 2. Okay, so we can see that we've got a whole SEF comment here, and all of that comment has been accumulated from individual comments that the individuals are making and the departments are making. And when we review that, we go back to the SEF response and update the SEF response, and we'd probably update where we are, where we think we're at, so we can change our self-grading at any one time. But it's when we get to the development plan here that we can start making the links. And so this is the idea, that we can either link it to an existing objective or activity that's already written on the plan. Okay, so let's select the correct activity and we'll add it there. Okay, or we can think, well, actually, this is one of those wider areas that I do now need to create a completely fresh activity, and it needs to go under that one. So whilst you're working on the SEF, you can be working in the background on the SDP. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that'll feed automatically. So that activity, so you can actually almost edit within the SEF, the school development plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've just created one there called test under objective 1.3. Okay, so if I go back to the development plan, (1.3), there it has got my new activity. So it's sitting there now in the SDP. For when I go back into the SDP, I can edit that. And I can add further detail of staff I want to include in the contribution to that. I might have evidence already that I can upload to that, etc., etc. I might put some notes in there of the kind of contributions that I'm expecting, etc. So you can be, it's as you're thinking and as you're evaluating, you can be creating without going in and out of separate documents. But what you will have to do is go back to the development plan and work to add more detail in at an appropriate time.